We are in the final stretch. It is now the 34th hour of 36 hours of Chemo Buddies for Life Give-A-Thon. And I have with me two amazing men, two of my coaches that I absolutely adore. We have Coach Jason Sisneros.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we have Coach Todd Speciale.
Well, good morning, for me anyways.
Yes, it is a good morning, and I want to thank you both for arriving here at the final 2 hours of what is now just about the second complete telethon or give-a-thon. However, these 2 hours, I have to say, are probably two of the most important hours that we have had because you two are here, and I'm grateful for that.
Well, we're grateful to be here. Oh, shoot, I got to turn this down because, I mean, the last thing I want to do is hear Todd's voice twice. It's going to be hard enough to get it once.
And we have someone that's just arrived. May I bring him in?
Bring him in, baby.
Hello.
Look at that smile. I'm talking about Jason, talking about Tom. Good to see you, sexy son of a bitch.
Likewise. How is all of these pretty people doing tonight?
Well, I mean, I'm good. There's, you know, and Tamara's fine, but that's the only pretty people on this one. So.
Thank you for arriving with us, Tom.
I felt bad because I had to talk to the police leaving my house earlier. We were filing a stalker report on Jason and my wife. She's a little scared, but we're kind of easing her down a little bit.
Hey, Dom's wife.
He means no harm. But she's seen him, and she's scared shitless after she sees him. So the cops guaranteed her there's no issues.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure there isn't.
I'm sure you know. I mean, because Miss Faussette has to deal with this craziness too. So I feel bad for Emily.
Yeah, a little bit more, actually. You know,
right.
Oh, that's funny. Well, look, we are gonna give you a break because you have been cranking for 36 hours. 34. Well, 34. But I'm sure you were up a couple hours before that too.
Yeah.
We won't do math equations tonight. I promise, Tamara. No math equations for Jason.
No math.
Okay.
I mean, I just figured I'd just make enough money to not have to count it. How's that?
I love it. You know, I'm gonna be getting a little bit of energy from you guys, so I'm gonna go and watch. Thank you for joining us, Dom. I appreciate you being here.
See you again.
Absolutely. We love you. We'll see you in just a little bit.
I'll see you then. Bye.
Okay. Love you.
Love you
All
too.
right. So,
bye.
Bye. And okay, so just to let everybody know out in the audience world, you know, these are two of my best buddies. We're gonna have some fun over the next couple of hours. Dom, you can stay here as long as you want to, brother. You know, you're more than welcome. Part of the crew here, and the idea is that we're supporting Giving Tuesday for Chemo Buddies for Life. And a lot, you know, Dom was the MC of the event that Miss Tamara won. We had a lot of fun there, and then you know, this other yahoo on the screen over here, I guess it would be, which way am I pointing? Right here, was the winner of that contest because Tamara was on his team.
Wait a second. Wait. Say that and slow down. Slow down. Don, did he say that clear enough? Because I don't know. Did you hear? You heard? What did he say, Dom? Can you help me?
I said he's a wiener.
Oh, a wiener.
Right, exactly.
A win's a win.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, both of them contributed a shit ton during the season. You know, coached up the team. It was a really great experience. Both of them are very, very dear friends of mine. And I just thought, you know, if we're going to take this home, what better way to do it than when with these two men who are outstanding human beings, great people, great, both of them great husbands, great fathers, and you know, terrible friends. But you know, other than that, they're, you know,
it's a one-off. It happens.
It's a, you know, you can't, I mean, you can't have it all unless you're me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Emily says I have it all, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's okay. You know, I get the same thing. I get the same thing from Michelle.
Oh, people knew.
People knew. Right on. So what are you up to, Dom? What are you working on, buddy?
Bro, a lot of good stuff. So obviously we got the radio show. Jason called in the other night. That was interesting. Thank you, sir. Turning that as gonna hook up with the Todd and crew. Turn that into a TV situation. So super stoked about that. Just got a track bike for Sophia. So very excited about that. But on a serious note, really jumping into this whole command presence thing. That's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've dealt with in my own life. When I say dealt with, like I've implemented in my own life, in my son's life. And you know, I like to work from the inside out. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. When I say be here, I don't mean like dead. Hey, I would be alive if you and Todd didn't exist, but I wouldn't be here.
But you wouldn't want. You wouldn't want to be. Let's just be honest. You know, you wouldn't want to be.
Right. But it's I jumped out, you know, I've only been doing this 2.5 years. And if it weren't for people like yourself and Todd, you know, just a couple text messages here and there. Hey, Dom, you know, I don't know if I would make that move, but I'm just going to leave that with you. Right. You know, and then, you know, just stuff like that. Right. And you know, being open to feedback and then being able to grind it. And when I say grind, I don't mean it from a social media standpoint. I legit mean like 1982 style grind. Putting up the money to do the things you want to do. And, you know, you wake up one day and, you know, the cars in your garage change, and you wake up one day, your vacations change, and the lives that you impact change. And to me, the most important lives that I impact that are changed are mine. I mean, all of us, if I'm not mistaken, have been in a position where if we went left, none of us would be on this screen. Right. And it's very easy to move and impact other people's lives. But so many of us in this space don't impact the one life that matters. And for me, I'm all about being selfish, because if I'm not selfish with me, nobody else is going to be. And I got to be able to give all that I am to those that I actually have a chance to impact as I take care of myself.
I love that. That's great, man. That's great. We'll get everybody caught up to speed on you, Todd.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, there's a lot going on, brother. I mean, you know, this is all about this definitely isn't about me. It's about something much bigger than me. You know, I was talking to Tamara the other night about you know, she didn't know the story about my mom with what's going on in my world when it compares to her with cancer and everything that's happened to her life. But you know, I was 15 years old. They gave my mom 6 months to live. You know, so she asked me to do this. You know, the only downside was I had to be on screen with you again. But Don, you're great. But you know, it's. I don't really necessarily. There's a lot going on in our world that's good. You know, look, Don. You know, having you a part of, you know, Globex and what's happened there is going to be a huge thing. That launch is coming the next day or so, and that's been something we've been working on. It's going to give, you know, entrepreneurs and thought leaders a platform to kind of shine, let's say, to millions and millions of households. But I think more importantly, it's going to give people like Tamara and the Give-A-Thon and Chemo Buddies an opportunity to kind of get the word out about what they're doing, which to me is most important. You know, Tom, you talked about starting this 2.5 years ago. You know, when I remember, you know, getting on my first stage and you know, nervous as shit, and the people in the crowd and everything that was happening in my life. It was a pretty rough time. My dad was really sick. Promised him, you know, I would do certain things. And what people don't know is the strength in my mom. My first speech ever was about my mother and her having breast cancer at 15, 6 months to live. And I was 15, and to look at the technology back then with cancer and everything it has, that it had to offer, kind of helping her fix, she didn't really believe that she had a chance to live. And it's really touching to me, because seeing what Tamara and this amazing group is doing. My mother's, she's 77 years old, had beat cancer now 3 times. They told my mom that if the cancer doesn't kill her when I was 15, that the chemo and radiation will, because she was doing chemo and radiation every other day, 5 days a week for 6 to 7 months. So the platform of which, Globex and things that I'm involved in that are really, really doing is it's great to help thought leaders, but more importantly, what it's going to do for, a charity like this, because people don't like to tell their stories too much when it has to deal with cancer or has to deal with any type of disease or suffering or, anything that bothers someone mentally, like Jason not being able to deal with my wife. But anything mentally, that people are going through, this is going to give people a platform to just shine and kind of speak their truth. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if you heard earlier, but like Jason trying to get with my wife won't happen. So,
well, you gotta speak up, man.
They're just understood. But no. So for me, there's a lot of positive things going on. I definitely don't want to make this, like we've always talked about, Jays. There's never kind of me background, and if I'm being honest, one thing I've really learned from you, in the growth is, we may bust each other's balls all day long, but you are definitely one of the most important people to me in my life, and what you've helped me, especially in growth and stuff. But I get emotional talking about stuff like this with my mom, because it's always been about my dad and my dad and my dad. And, when Tamara and I were talking the other day, she was like, I didn't even know that story. So shame on me, right? Shame on me for not putting it out there and talking about, the suffering that my mom went through and stuff. But she's the strongest woman I've ever known. My dad obviously was my best friend, but I want tonight to be all about what we can do, as the strong 3 gentlemen that we are, and how we can put this suffering at ease. Because I know if my mom had a platform like this, then she probably would have had, not probably, guaranteed, would have had a better outlook on what she could have conquered without having to do it herself, So
well,
a lot of things happening, but this is important to me.
Well, and the reason why I wanted you guys to talk about the things that you're doing, because 1000%, I want everybody to know and understand that without doing your own thing, like Dom said, right? Without having a passion, without figuring out what you're great at, falling in love with what you're great at, falling in love with the outcomes of your clients, right? That's something that both of you guys have in common, is that you fall in love with the outcome of your clients, of the outcome of the people that you're training, the outcomes of your team, and then you want to impact the world. And how you do that, you've got to resource yourself, right? Yeah. And part of resourcing yourself is you've got to make money. You got to make money and you got to have time, and both of those things work in tandem together. And so you've got to do something that stands you out and apart and above the people that sit back and just kind of take, that just kind of take life as it comes. And the thing that I love about this platform of Chemo Buddies for Life is that it's Tamara looking out into the world, finding a gap and wanting to ease suffering by stepping in and going, okay, this is what was missing when my mom was going through cancer. This is what was missing when I was going through cancer, right? These are the things that were missing, and then fill in that gap like Dom does with Command Presence, right? Like you do on your sales training and with Globex and with this amazing show that I got the awesome opportunity to do the first episode of, called Gut
Going
Check.
viral, baby. That's going viral.
And I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, man, we had 2 segments on that show, and that was not enough. I'm like, we got to do a precursor or something to that to set the stage a little better.
Well, it's funny because when we were talking about it, when you were texting me and we were having that conversation, I was thinking to myself, it wasn't right. Because here's the thing about for a lot of you who haven't been in front of camera and you're on this time crunch, when you're in front of the camera and you've got a crew looking at you and they're going in the background, look, 2 minutes, and you got 1 minute and trying to slow you down. You have so much to say. Here's the thing about thought leaders and guys like us. We love to run our mouths. We love to talk. We love to, to put it out there. truth is, you know, the more good we do, and touch lives, and that's what Gut Check's about, right? Is kind of challenging yourself and not just other people, but challenging yourself to be more. I thought to myself, there wasn't enough time for that. And when we spoke, we both came up with the idea, we got to add another segment. Like, I want this to be like a 2-hour, you know, pilot of this series, because I think there's so much more to talk about. I can't thank you enough for being the first guest on that show, nor to me a better choice for the first guest. But there's a lot of people out there, man, that are suffering. And we talk about mental and physical disease out there, but what about the disease of people getting taken advantage of? You know, to me, that's a serious one. So
it is. And people, you know, I mean, I think some of that is learning and educating yourself. I mean, you know, Dom went through it. I watched as he entered the industry, right? And you guys actually kind of came in around the same time, maybe Dom a little bit earlier, but you guys came into the industry a little bit. And I watched you guys both bumping around and, you know, bumping your head and going this event. No, do I pay to be on stages? Fuck that. Like, you know, and kind of going around. But, you know, but at the end of the day, it comes back to that if you have integrity, you act integrity in integrity. And if you act in integrity, that means that the people that you surround yourself with, you command that from them, right, Dom? Like you demand that from them, you command that with them. And so, you know, your show is going to be amazing. I can't wait to watch it. You know, the first episode, like I said, it definitely needs to be more. And part of the issue, and then I want Dom to talk about this issue just a little bit. When we very first started out, that very first episode, one of the things that your show does is it calls out those people that are screwing people over in the marketplace and, you know, out of integrity. And I said, the very first place, the only time that you can ever do that is when you've actually called yourself out, right? The very first person that you have to do is you have to step up and own your own shit. You have to step into that realm of saying, you know what? I've messed up in my life. I've hurt people in my life. I've made bad decisions in my life. And here's what they are. And here's I own that. I'm not doing that anymore. And now I'm going to forgive myself, make it right with those people, and then use my mistakes as power as we move forward. Right, Dom?
You know, I didn't plan on being where I'm at now. Speaking for me was therapy, and it's ironic that Todd mentioned that he's never really talked about his mom. I don't talk about mine. My first month out into entrepreneurship, my mom was in a coma. She's been battling cancer majority of my life. And to see my mom go from 200 pounds and she's drill instructor military, you know, 5'10", Chicago South Side. You know, she stabbed somebody before she even joined the military, right? But to see her now frail at 140 pounds, 135 pounds, it's I don't talk about it because I'm like, I just got comfortable talking about my stuff. So, and we, in this industry, I think getting done dirty or getting screwed over is unfortunately, and this might be my ignorance, but I think it's something that just everybody goes through. Because if you both were to reach out and say, Dom, do not do this, then I'm not going to learn. But there's been times I know for a fact, Jason, you see me post, I'm going to go to this event, and you're just like, okay, let's just see what's going to happen. Like, I know what's going to happen, but let's see how he's going to handle this. And, you know, I learned some things, and I'm glad I came into this game at the age of 38 and not 18 and 28. But, and I'm glad you guys are bringing up this show. The only reason why I don't bring it up to people is I don't think I'm there yet. I'm professional. Yeah. But when somebody takes money from me, it's taking money from my son. And
yeah, amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Family to me, on one occasion, I've almost addressed somebody who has taken advantage of my newness or my ignorance. And the moment I began to walk towards them, I felt the old Dom start to take over. And like,
wait. I got to clarify, old Dom.
Okay.
Old ponytail Dom.
That's a story. That is a story. That is a story.
Bro, that wasn't even a story, man.
It was the only story we needed to hear. So let me set
legendary story right now.
Yeah, so let me set the stage so everybody can get caught up to date, right? We're in Chicago, and were we getting ready, or were we already done? I think we were getting ready. Right?
We were getting ready. Yeah.
I think you were done.
Yeah.
Oh no, we were done. I was just getting a photo shoot done for something. Me and Sophia. Yeah, something. We were just hanging out.
That's right. And I remember Sophia's dress, by the way, perfectly. So hi, Sophia.
She's not even in this side of the house. She's on the other side.
Yeah, she's watching. I mean, mainly because I'm on. But hi, Sophia. So anyway, we're all kind of celebrating the end of the show and all that kind of stuff. And Dom starts in, and you could tell he had a story to tell, man. And he goes, back when I had a ponytail. And I was like, whoa, stop the bus. I don't even know what the story. You never got to the story.
I don't remember the story either.
I was thinking, how I mean, there's Easy-E was popping into my head, with what is it, the Soul Glow and
right.
But so now you can take it from there.
Yeah, yes. It was the only, yes, ponytail Dom. We can call PTD. And it's there's just some things that I think guys like us feel that we've overcome, especially when we live a life, and I can't speak on your guys' past, but I can assume, especially when you live a life of getting things done with these, and then you slowly but surely mature, hopefully. And I just felt I felt this person start to come out. I'm like, whoa, hey, we're just gonna call him Ponytail Dom, starting to come to the scene, and I just kept quiet, right? And it's and again, I one of the things I struggled with was I know how I come across, and I know how minute this industry is, and I know we're all 6 degrees of separation. And it's how does one deal with, maybe like the words putting people in their place isn't the right phrase. It's just a phrase I know to use. But how do you put people in their place? And especially as a person, all of us have the ability to crush souls with our words.
Right.
And all of us have, I've done it. But now we're in a place in our life where we lift people up.
Yeah.
Like go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. I want you and Todd to answer this question, because this is a debate that I have with multiple people these days, where we have this day and age where people feel like your words, like people's words, like you just said, you can crush souls with our words, or you can lift them up. Right now, the person on the other side, because we live in a PC culture. Right. The stuff that we joke about, the thing, the way that we go back and forth, with each other and all that kind of stuff, people would look at it and go, these fucking guys even like each other, but at the end of the day, what can you harm? And I'm going to ask the question because, and I'll let you know what my opinion is. Can you harm another human being with your words? Yes or no? Todd, go first.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's I'll give an explanation because, and this is super personal, but, since we're putting it all out there on Chemo Buddies, I'm going to put it out there. Right. One of the things that's kind of helped me excel. And I think one thing that allowed us to connect, Jay, you saw me speak at an event and we connected kind of right away because you came up to me, and one thing you've said many times to me, what reminded me of in the past, which has helped me kind of excel, is you said you saw me on stage, you go, you're at 40%. I don't know if you remember that comment or not.
Mm-hmm, I do.
I've never forgot about that. You're like, dude, you're a powerhouse. You're a great speaker. You're a guy that is going to do great things, but you're running at 40%. I can't wait to see you when you're running at 100. Mm-hmm. And then that conversation has literally been literally embedded in my brain because it's certain moments and things that you hear from people those words changed my life dramatically that day. So when you ask about how words can change your life, well, you know, and can they harm? Yeah, they can harm. They can also help. Because some people might, depending on how they take that, you know, could go any different direction, right? But recently, my daughter, you know, one of my daughters, she's kind of had some insecurities and stuff like that, you know, and if anybody has seen my daughters, you know, a lot of people are you know, partial, I would say, or biased opinions based on their family. But my daughters are beautiful. Thank God they don't look like me. But you know, they're beautiful young ladies, and unfortunately, at an age, especially teenagers' age, you know, the insecurities kind of come out, and it was words that were spoken to them in a scenario that did not mean the way she felt they were defined in her world, right? So it put her in a state of mind where she felt so negatively about these words that were spoken. And after talking to her and talking to our pastor at church and you know, sitting down and kind of explain to her, hey, listen, you know, any word can be spoken to you, but how you decipher that comment or how you define what those words actually mean in your life is up to you, you know? So yeah, they can hurt because a lot of people aren't you and me, Jason. There's a lot of guys out there that say that they're close enough to be able to talk shit about, you know, our wives or our family and stuff like that. Listen, we both know if it's anybody but me, you, Dom, and some people, we're not family talking about this. They're dead. I mean, there's no in between, right? They're dead. We know that it's a yeah, no, it's fact. So yeah, words can harm, man, you know, in more ways than one, but it's not necessarily us meaning to harm when we speak them and how we say them. Cause it's, you know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But more importantly, what I've learned is how people actually take those words and how they define them. And I've got to be real conscious of when I say things to people to say, damn, that can actually come across in a way that they feel like it's harmful. So yeah, I totally agree that it can be. That's my opinion.
Awesome, man. What do you think, Dom?
Yeah, I would say yes. I truly believe words can harm in a couple different ways. Most people that meet me based off who don't need to be here. And my wife had to tell me that there's just a way that I come across.
Hey, Todd, just a second, real quick. Hey, Todd, whenever one of us is speaking, just go ahead and take your volume down. Okay, go ahead, Dom.
It was brought to my attention by Sophia. You guys might know her. She advised that there's a way that people perceive me just by the way I show up on social media. I'm that person in person, but when I meet somebody in person, I've had to learn to tone it down. And it was brought to my attention by my daughter. Jokingly, I'm the crazy uncle in the family, and my sister has this weird way of putting all my business out there, and she knows. And the verbiage in the household is if anybody messes with any other woman in the Faussette family, Dominic's gonna be the one that kills them, and that's gone on for like a decade. Well, my daughter, she just started dating, and a couple years ago, she legit asked me, and she was fearful. She said, Daddy, if I introduce you to my boyfriend, are you going to kill him? And I laughed because I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore. But she had like a tear in her eye. I said, girl, I need you to understand, like, yes, there was a person that I was, but like, you're my daughter. But it took me almost 3 years to be nice, extra nice to her. And then people in this society, in my opinion, are very soft. And I would consider, I think all of us are pretty matter of fact. That's because time is valuable. I think because people don't value time the way we value time. They need the once upon a time. And I wasn't raised with once upon a time. My wife and I don't speak that. We don't speak that language. So I honestly struggle with choosing the right word to say to somebody as I look into their eyes and see the hurt, even though they're smiling. so that my words don't negatively impact it, because I might not ever see them again.
Got it.
What about you, boss?
Well, for me, there's two sides of the equation. Number one is that I believe that, words of affirmation can change a person's lives, right? Tony Robbins, grabbing my hand and looking at me in the face and saying, "I believe in you," right? I mean, he said, "I believe you," because I had said something, but I heard, "I believe in you." And it was at one of the lowest points in my life. I was homeless. I sold some drugs to get to this event that Tony was at. I knew my life had changed because I went to this event. And I just told him, I said, "I'm going to pay you back." And he sat back and he goes, "I believe you, but I heard, I believe in you." And then listening, I think about the power of my adopted father and the things that he said to me as I was coming up, and why I didn't know he was my adopted father until I was 17. And those words, as they penetrate, I thought that was coming from my own dad, right? And I didn't know until 17 he was my real dad. And I think about all of those things and the direction that they came from. And then I look at the other side of it, which is when you become conscious. So if you're unconscious and you're taking that shit in all the time and you allow it to control you, like, Dom, I don't know if you've ever been called the N-word. I've been called all kinds of names because my last name is Sisneros. I have white skin, but I've been called a spick before. There's all of these different. I've been called a honky. I've been called white trash, like across the spectrum, right? And I look at the most powerful tool that anyone can have is the ability to control meaning, right? To control meaning, because words have behind them meaning. I love you. I hate you. Dr. Emoto's work with how he speaks and the cells and how they respond. The most important people, like if I was to say there's a couple of really great lessons, the most important thing is, how do you speak to yourself? Because those are the words that you're speaking most often, right? I am a winner. I am a champion. I am, I literally changed my primary question. You guys both know this from the course. I changed my primary question from how do I protect myself to how can I be a powerful world changer and enjoy every breath, right? And that went from how do I protect myself? I was a great drug dealer. I was a great collector of cash. I was a great fighter, like all that kind of stuff, because I learned to defend myself against a full-grown man since I was 6 years old, right? And I learned that was my primary question that helped me survive. And then the second thing that came from it was knowing and understanding it, turning it and saying, look, how can I be a powerful world changer that enjoys every breath? I had no idea that when I chose that as my primary question, something that I was going to think over and over and over again, get in my body, get in my soul, get in my spirit, get in my I was going to literally create in my brain neural net pathways that said, this is how I'm going to process information and get to that point that I would become a comedian, right? And a powerful world changer through charity. Like I couldn't have fucking predicted. Like I couldn't have predicted the power of me taking control of my primary belief about who I was. I couldn't have predicted it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have said that. And so at the end of that, I go towards meaning. And when I changed the meaning of my adopted father and his power over my life, and I said, you know what? I'm grateful that he was my dad. I'm grateful for it because he made me a badass motherfucker who's never raised his hand to another woman. He's raised a beast. Whatever he tried to destroy, he made stronger. You know what I mean? Like that's taken back the power. And so now when people talk shit, like online or other people, they want to lie about you. They want to talk shit. Sometimes they're telling the truth about the old version of me, that kind of stuff. You take it and you go, that's not me. And I love you. I please forgive me and peace out. Now, if you touch my children, Dom, the same scenario. My daughter, 6 years old, went to school last year, and this little boy was flirting with her, and she says, "I can't. If you touch me, or what, my dad will kill you." at 6 years old. You know, there was
She's a smart girl.
Yeah, she's smart, but there, you know, when she was a baby, when she was not baby, she was about 5 or 4, there was a dog that was coming to attack her. And I mean, I came from 900 yards away and I saw the dog was chasing her and had his fangs out like he was going to bite her. And I came, you know, flying across it. Dog people aren't going to like this, but it was the dog or my daughter. And guess which one lost? You know, and she saw that. You know, nobody messes with my kids. Nobody messes with my family. You know, and that means nobody messes with you guys because you're my boys. Nobody messes with Misfit Nation, right? That power of protection is what we're here for. But we're also here to tell people not to allow the words of the world to control you anymore, right? And most of the people that I've heard, like, you know, on this channel of chemo buddies for life and people that have survived cancer, it's that they took control of the narrative. I am healed. I have beaten cancer. As they're going through it, right? And taking over the words and controlling the narrative. And if people could just understand, at least take control of the narrative of your own words, and then control the meaning of the shit that you think was bad for you and change it. Change the story. You know, that's ultimate power. Yeah, somebody fucked you over. Look, you know, welcome to the world of 7.8 billion fucking people.
Right.
Somebody has offended you. Somebody hurt you. Somebody punched you. Somebody raped you. Somebody called you a bad name. Somebody stole from you. Somebody stabbed you. Somebody said you got cancer. You got like all of this shit that happens to us. Welcome to the fucking world of being a human being, you know? And so the response to this is the strongest people I know have figured out how to change the narrative in their own head and how to change the meaning of what has happened to them. That's my take.
You know, it's funny because, you know, listen to you speak and it's funny the passion that pours out of us, you know, and I see it in you too, Jay. I mean, when we were doing the first episode of Gut Check, you know, I saw it was kind of like a temperature level, just getting hotter and hotter and Ryan just ready to explode, you know, and that's the passion in how I think we all live our lives. Right. So we talked about like words, and I saw that, you know, Teresa had asked, the words of encouragement for people who have cancer when they think there's no time left, you know, or when they think they're done.
They've been handed a death sentence.
You've been handed a death sentence, like my mother did. You know, I'll tell you this. I can't speak for a lot of people. I can definitely speak on my mother. You know, the only time I ever saw my mom for a year and a half was her sleeping on the couch, throwing up with no hair. You know, that was it. She was throwing up or sleeping for a year. That's it. We grew up in a pretty rough area, and you know, like you know, obviously I was probably one of very few white guys in my neighborhood at the time, you know, and it was a very multicultural neighborhood, and got my ass kicked a bunch, and then started fighting back. And I remember the aggressiveness.
They didn't kick it hard enough, by the way. Just saying.
Well, I mean, look, Jay, you ever heard of the online tough guy? Jason Sisneros is the definition. So, anyways. You know, when I saw my mom like literally sleeping on the couch throwing up, and I saw that she wasn't giving, you know, my reply to people when they say, what would you say to someone that's been handed a death sentence? I would say, you got to believe. And as corny as that sounds, you know, I watch a lot of Tony stuff. I haven't had the luxury of meeting him like you, Jay, and actually being in his presence. But, you know, a lot of people say the word believe, but do they really, right? Do you believe in yourself to take a shot like Dom to be able to jump and make Think React Lead something real now? You know, are they the Jason Sisneros who went through, you know, a very tough childhood and the abuse you went through to turn yourself into the thought leader that you are today for all of us? You know, when I look at my mother and the strength that she had, you know, she looked at me and I remember falling to my knees, like walk in one day, just seeing her bald laying on the couch. And I was 15, maybe 16 at the time. I thought I was a tough kid, you know, was at that time was doing what I could to financially support and help as well. And I remember falling to my knees and seeing my mother, and I was looking in her eyes, and I'm holding her hand. And I just remember tears were coming, down my face, and saying, what can I do? What can I do, Mom? I'd do anything to take away the pain. And her eyes were closed. I didn't know she was listening, but she woke up and looked me in her eyes, and she goes, it doesn't matter what I go through, what pain I have at this very moment, I'm still your mother, and I take care of you. And I remember sitting back like, damn, dude, like I'm getting choked up now talking about it. I remember looking back and saying, and now thinking to myself, what strength and perseverance and dedication to being a mom, right? I had that love and support a lot of people didn't have, I always say my parents were the richest people in love, and obviously not in finance, but they, at that very moment, the power of those words, when she looked at me, like basically saying, hey, it's okay, wiping the tears away from my eyes when the doctor says you have 6 months to live, you're done, the death sentence has been handed. She went under the knife not knowing whether she was going to have a mastectomy or a lumpectomy. I mean, imagine that as a woman, right? Knowing if you're not going to wake up, with one of your breasts, I mean, Tamara had to have complete reconstructive, she had a double mastectomy, and I can't imagine the mental trauma that they go through, but at that very moment, I thought women are just stronger. Number one, number two, the words that were pouring out of her had nothing to do. It was so selfless. You know what I mean? Like she's done. Like you have the smartest people that have gone to school for years and years are telling you, you're dead. That's it. You're fucking dead. You've got no life left. It's over with. Say goodbye to your kids. Do you have a will? Like imagine hearing this, right? And then for her to look at me in the face and said, no matter what I go through, I'm the one that takes care of you. I mean, that there's power in that, and I think that's what, that's another burning, point in my life where, I've kind of taken those words to another level. So yeah, man, Teresa, I hear you loud and clear. I can't say that I know, because I fortunately, knock on wood, have not been in that scenario of having cancer, and hopefully I never will. But for those of you that are, man, that belief in your mindset is what I truly, and as corny as it sounds, I truly believe that if you truly believe in the words you speak, my pastor the other day tells me it's the power of the word, right? Like you say the negative shit over and over and over and over again, negative shit's going to happen in your life, period. It doesn't matter. It comes to fruition no matter what. But when you say positive things over and over and over, man, that positive stuff will begin. My mother stayed positive through the entire thing. She fought for her family. She fought for us kids. And man, those words of encouragement came from her soul. You know what I mean? So a lot of power in that.
For sure, bro.
I think that it's to hear this, as I see the three of us on this screen, and I've heard some things about Jason's mom. Now I'm hearing about yours. I think our moms, if they were on this screen right now, like we are naturally tough men, just on our own. But our moms, the toughness that they would have on this screen, like I hear the words that they would say. We say it in one way, but to hear, I know none of us were easy to raise. Yeah, right. I know 100% I wasn't. And knowing who you guys are today in my life, like I know you weren't. But it made us. And Todd, when you say you were crying, and your mom said, "Look, I'm here to take care of you." It was last year. I went to the hospital to check on my mom, and he just looked at me and said, "Why are you here? Like, there's nothing you can do. You have a business to run. You have lives to change. I didn't make you for you to be here and be sad." And I was like, I had to check myself. Like I felt like you gotta call him. I feel like a punk right now. Like I'm coming in trying to help you out. And like now you take all the wind out of my sails and you basically kick me out the VA hospital to go do what I was purposed to do. And she just told me I didn't spend all my time with you for you to be here by my side. You're not a doctor.
It's that woman thing, man. I'm telling you, like, the stuff that they go through and the stuff that they have to put up with. I mean, the things I watched my mom go through, and I know why I was put on this earth. In the very beginning portion of my life, I know I was put here to protect my mom. Like, I know that. for a fact with every cell in my body, because, you know, when that whole thing started and he started beating on her, whatever it was, it's at 6 years old to tell somebody, hey, go step in front of that grown ass man who's supposed to be your dad and protect that woman who's supposed to be your mom, right? Like wherever that came from, I know that was my purpose. And, you know, and taking those beatings, but watching when I wasn't home, and, you know, and when I wasn't home and couldn't protect her, and, you know, the night that my adopted father actually got, you know, essentially finally put away for his life, or, you know, for 18 years or whatever it was, for attempted murder, but watching my mom, and we stood in government cheese lines, right? It was this swallowing of a pride, and, you know, living in these different towns, city, small town, city, small town, city, small town, you know, doing all the shit, working 2 and 3 fucking jobs at a time. And sometimes we didn't have any food at all. So we would go walk a road to go find some asparagus and shit on the side of the road, and just witnessing the power of my mom never giving up, you know, trying to run away from my adopted father, and have him holding our, you know, other parts of our family at gunpoint until she would come back. Him kidnapping me to get her to stay under control. Like, and just watching with strength. And to this day, watching my mom be the brightest smile in the room, and the brightest spirit, and the first one to want to help or to serve or to lift other people up. You know, it's breathtaking when you think back about it. You know what I mean? The shit that women have to go through, and our moms, like you said, like Dom said, we might be badasses, but they are badasses. They are genuine fucking heroes, and they don't have a chance. Like, this is the problem with I believe what's going on with men today, you know, is that men have figured out that if they bounce, the woman will take care of the fucking problem. They'll be like, you know, I'm out. The woman, they don't have any choice. They don't even think of it as a choice to bounce on their kids. I know there's exceptions to every rule, but they don't think of it as a choice to bounce on their kids, right? They don't think of it as a choice to leave a family, or if they do break apart from the family, to step away from their financial responsibility for that woman that you said at one point in time you loved, and that you had put together a family with. You don't just bounce. But that's what's wrong. I mean, that's a bit like, that's why I love watching Dom speak a lot. Why love watching you speak, Todd, because you guys get up and Dom calls out the younger generation, like, pull your pants up, son. One of my favorite things I ever watched fucking Dom do. Pull your pants up, son. Right? Show some fucking respect, not for the rest of the world, but for yourself first. And you know, and having this respect, like, you know, you think about Tamara and this platform that she's built with Chemo Buddies for Life. Like, this shit, just to put together this 36 hours, the amount of work that she put into this, the amount of strength that it took to bring together 36 different entertainers and speakers, and to line that all up for one reason, and that's to ease suffering for someone else, you know? And there's a power between men and women, that men that act like men and step up in their strength, and women who are already, you know, mostly speaking, they're in their strength because they have no choice.
Right.
That's where real power happens, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I remember we talked, you know, about the event coming up in February, that, you know, I look at the speakers, you know, on that platform, dude, and dude, it's like, wow. I mean, and I know you're not even done yet. You know,
no, we got more coming. You know,
I already know.
And there's more women than men, by the way.
So that's kind of where I'm going with this. You know, I remember, you know, out in LA at an event, listening to Danelle, you know, speak. Danelle Delgado, you know, is a powerhouse, man. You know, and seeing the way she is as a mother, believe it or not, has been a pretty cool thing to see, because we see these successful speakers and coaches and these thought leaders as women out in the real world, and they're all business, you know what I mean? So it's all business and growth and monetization and success stories, and where I think the real passion comes from and what comes from their soul is at home. You know, I mean, listen, you know, my mother was the rock of my family. And when I mean the rock, I mean, my mother worked 40 to 60 hours a week at Dillard's in the Lancome makeup department on her feet for 20 plus years. And she never made more than $400 a week. I mean, you know, I want you to think about that for a second. And she figured it out. I mean, I know for me, man, I've been down in the dirt so bad before that $400. I mean, how do you survive? You know what I mean? But she figured it out, and she figured out a way not only just to survive, she figured out a way to make it look good, man. I mean, my mother made $400 look good. I mean, we still had gifts. It may have been from the dollar store. We still had gifts at Christmas. You know, we still had food on the table. Yeah, we're eating, you know, bullshit every day now growing up and seeing it, but my mom made it look good. And that strength in women, to me, it's unmatched. I mean, we could be the tough guys all we want with tattoos and talk shit and go back and forth and talk about, you know, going to do, you know, crazy things, amazing, awesome things like you do, Jay, and rescues and all that stuff, man. But it's crazy to see someone like Tamara do what she's doing and taking this platform to the next level. Because since I beat Jason and won the show, sorry, let me make sure I said that clear. You know, since that happened, dude, if I'm being honest, I didn't do shit. Because seeing someone like Tamara there was nothing that ever needed to be done. The charge she took and the effort that's put in, it had nothing to do with her. And the reason why I truly thought that she was so deserving of that win is because nothing with her ever had to do with her. It was never me. You know, Jay, you talk about it all the time. You know, it's always like me. What am I doing? Me. Get rid of that word. You know, do you need a little bit of growth and ego to survive? Of course you do. But for her, it was taking her suffering, pouring it out in the world, and gaining control of something that she is making bigger than any of us. And like you said, easing suffering. But for one of the best qualities about her, you know, I'm texting back and forth the other day with Tamara. She sends me a picture. I say, you know, you're a beautiful person, you're a beautiful soul. And I said, I just got to tell you, I love you. And we text each other back and forth a lot. And she sent me a picture. She goes, no, I'm not beautiful. This was me beautiful. And she shows me a picture of her and her other half, and she tells me that was me beautiful before cancer, right? Dude, like I almost, like, I got choked up replying back, and I was actually sitting with Michelle and I was showing her the text, and I was just like, does she understand how much more beautiful she is now? Like the growth and her blossoming through her struggles has allowed her to become one of the strongest, most beautiful women I've ever seen. And I told her that. I said, Tamara, I said, I understand you think in your physical form, you know, that you think you were better looking or more beautiful back then. I said, but in your mind, you need to realize that you're so much more now. And as men, that's hard for us at times. You know what I mean? Like we talked about, you know, beauty. I mean, listen, I'm way better looking than Jason without question. But and those words may hurt him, but sometimes the truth has to come out, right? Dom has a great smile, but I'm still better looking. Like, I don't know, like it may be ego, but I don't know. When you talk about growth, you know, it is what it is. But
it really legitimately is what it is. But you know, for Tamara, you know, for Tamara, you know, on from that perspective, I mean, how many internet, you know, Instagram models are fucking ugly? like inside. No, I mean, like, you know, they're like, they're ugly inside, and you know, there's men that you know, it really comes down to, if you're really not a vapid human being, right? It comes down to who you are as a human being to other people that are not doing as well as you are, or can do nothing for you, right? And as much as I knew for a lifetime I was going to take a fucking ribbing from you, like, because Tamara was going to win, she deserved that win. You know what I mean? Like, Christopher put his heart and soul into the thing, and you know, and just there was a lot of people that but she decided she was going to win, and she worked her ass off. And there's so many people that played that game that were playing it from a perspective of me, I, and they don't understand that makes, like, that literally, like, oh, look at all the stuff I'm doing. Look at me. Oh, like waving the hands and shit. It makes them unattractive to people. Right. And that all about me thing, it's literally, if you just put the energy out, because what people see on social media that Todd does, the stuff that Dom does, that's on social media, is the very tippity top of the service and the energy and the work that is actually happening behind the scenes. You know, it's a very small snapshot where a lot of people on social media, Dr. V, who's going to be one of our speakers in February too, he put out this thing. He's like, you know, talking about the fact that he was getting on TikTok. And I'm like, look, my question to everybody that spends so much time on so much social media is, how much money is that shit putting in your pocket? You know, how much money is it actually put? Oh, it's the new way to sell shit and blah, 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 blah. I just sold. You guys just know I got a giant exit out of my businesses. Not fucking one of them was online. Not one of them. You know, these were service businesses that were helping other people. These were, you know, brick and mortar businesses, and not one of them. And you guys know the course that both of you guys taken, the 12-week course that I built, that has sold over a couple $1 million. Not one single ad on social media, right? Word of mouth. It's like we've forgotten that a product like Chemo Buddies for Life, right? Like Think, React, Lead, like what you're doing, Todd, like, you know, like that we have forgotten that products that succeed are meant to succeed because they ease suffering, ease pain, increase pleasure, do something that solve a pain in the marketplace, not because of how flashy of a funnel that you can put out there, the flashiness of the social media stuff, because there's billions and billions of dollars that are being spent on social media to look pretty and to look big and look amazing. And you get on the back end of that, those people aren't making any money.
You mentioned earlier, well, you mentioned product, and you also mentioned just you said you knew that your purpose was to protect your mom. And then I look at the protection that you do just in general, right? It's natural. You have a natural inclination to just protect people. I think all three of us do. And I understand the power of social media, but going back to the power of words, it didn't hit me from a me as a business standpoint until I brought on a client that's known me since first grade. And have I always had some work to build up myself? Of course, but when somebody sees you for more than you see yourself from the age of 6 up until, you know, you're 41, and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, wow, you know what? Like I've never really seen myself in the mirror. And I say that because come 18, 22, 27, like I should have been dead, like many of us, several times over. And then when you mention people have this me versus looking at Tamara and how the way she shows up, it's almost like she doesn't have to say anything. Like she's got command presence, and command presence is having that, you know it when you see it. Like you just walk into a room and you don't have to say a word. And when I saw her, I've seen her once prior to that event. I looked at her and I said, wow, like she's got command presence. And I didn't say anything to her, but I wasn't surprised that she won, because when you look at the room, I saw everybody talking, but I heard her without her talking.
Right.
Very ironic.
Mm.
Yeah. She's got that. She's definitely got that presence. And, it's getting, obviously back to Chemo Buddies and how this all relates. It's crazy to me when you walk into a room, how you can feel the pain of others. Like I believe, as weird as this may sound, I truly believe that I feel people, man. Like I can meet someone and I feel them. It may sound weird.
You can get arrested for that these days, bro. Just saying.
What's that?
You can get arrested for that these days.
Yeah.
You have to ask permission. You can feel people.
Said,
okay, Joe Biden.
I'm scared shitless of you, Jay. So I know exactly what you mean. But I mean, I can literally feel the pain in people. It's like I come when I talk to someone, they're telling me a story, and it's like I'm always like, I know, and it's funny how a lot of people turn that pain into a massive success, like Tamara did. It's like you can see people, especially these kids with cancer, and just for generations. I did a kind of little fun singing thing, which you never want to hear me sing. Trust me, it's hilarious. But for children with cancer, the little Jason Cancer Center, and it was crazy how some of them just don't know. They don't know how sick they are, right? Or they do, but in their mind, based on the atmosphere they're in and how we promote happiness and laughter, that they may or may not know how sick they are. But it's funny how you talk to people every day that have cancer, and they're either fighting through, and they're fighting through the assistance and help of others, like what Chemo Buddies does for people. I mean, this platform is like, who thinks of such an amazing thing? For Tamara to create such a platform like this, I know for a fact that my mother probably would have beat cancer sooner, because I believe it's a power within you, right? And when they say you're done, your death sentence is given, and then you beat it, dude, that's something in you. You created something within you to fight back. Chemo Buddies does that, and that platform for me, I mean, look, it's 2:00 in the morning here in Orlando. And when Tamara asked me to do this show with Jason, which, I wish it was dumb, but when they asked me to do the show with Jason, she says, it's from 1 to 3 a.m. She says, are you sure about this? I said, Tamara, you've been up, you're going to be up 36 hours. Like, it doesn't matter, ask me to do it at 4 o'clock. I had to
literally kick her off the screen to get her to take a break. I'm like, you're off. You can come back at the end, but you got to go take a break.
Yeah, go take a rest
or pee. Something.
Yeah, but I do want to say this. We talk about Chemo Buddies and what it can do for people, but what we need to get to the point of is what it does through the assistance and having someone there to support you through this time, and to really give you that laughter and love that I feel like some people like my mother didn't have at that time, man. I mean, we all know, man, when you laugh, those endorphins that come out of you, you know what I mean? It just changes you. You know what I mean? You could be in the worst state of mind, and it just changes you instantly. So I'm honored to be a part of this, man. I want to see this go to next level. I want people to get their checkbooks out. I want people to donate. I want people to see what Tamara is doing. But we got to do this together, man. I mean, this is not this isn't an overnight success, but it seems.
Yeah.
Like
So we're going into that second hour. And there's a few of you out there watching. You should donate. You can go to CB4L. .org, and you can donate directly there. I've also put it up on my page. It's there. You should be, share this out to other people that are, because at the end of the day, this is a sharing sort of scenario. Tamara doesn't have a giant budget. to go out and to advertise and to put this stuff out there. And so she puts her heart and her soul into it. She leverages her resources to get this out there. And at the end of the day, what all we're asking for is for you to share what we're doing right now. Like this conversation, just share it. And we would have double the audience and share it with people that have been touched by cancer. My closest brush with it, thank God, thus far, has been with my grandfather, that I met. This was when I turned 17, I figured out my last name was Sisneros. I met my real grandfather the next year. 2 years later, he died from prostate cancer. And so I had a very short amount of time with him. But that's been my only brush in my family. Like it's been, but I've known people that are my friends and the people that I've dealt with in my life that have gotten cancer and then fought it and survived. And it's like this, Misfit Nation, right? Misfit Nation's a bunch of us that have screwed up in life. We've done our best to make it right with the people that we harmed. We've forgiven ourselves and we've moved on with our life. We haven't we don't allow other people to use that leverage over us anymore to try to keep us down. Do you remember that thing you did, Dom? You remember that thing you did, Todd? You remember that thing that you did, Teresa? Like all that shit that people like to weigh down on top of us. Misfit Nation's breaking out of that. Right. The entire reason why Unstoppable in February was created was so that we could all get together and celebrate each other under one roof. The people have been asking for that for 3 years. Right. And to see all of that, and to come back to the original intent of this, which is to have this platform that you want to support good things. Right. That's the reason why I'm here putting my name behind it. Why Dom jumped on here, no problem, at the last minute. Why Todd's here putting his credibility behind it is because we believe in the person called Tamara, but more importantly, we believe in the platform that she's built to ease suffering in the world that is necessary. Those of you that know somebody that's been through cancer, you should share this. They should go back and watch this entire 36 hours. It's been so much value. And share it out to somebody that has had cancer. And imagine, I just want everybody that's on here right now just to stop and imagine that you're sitting across from a doctor and you hear those words. You got cancer. And the dominoes that would fall down in your life, everything that you thought, every plan that you had, every hope, every dream with your kids, with your grandkids, with your family, that vacation that you never went on, the I'm sorry that you never got a chance to say, the chances you never got to take in business, the risks you never got to take, like, and that thing happens to you. And all of a sudden you're looking in and you're going, now what? Who do you go to? Where do you go? And Tamara, with her mom, she got cancer at the same time her mom had cancer. She was so sick with chemo and going through chemo that she had no voice. So when her mom would call, she couldn't talk to her. So the family unit was broken apart by cancer, both of them going through it at the same time. And so she thought to herself, nobody else is going to go through this life alone as long as I can impact it. And so we have the call. The entire reason for this 36 hours was to call people in and say, if you've been impacted by cancer, if you have a heart to serve, if you've had cancer and you beat it, then come and be a chemo buddy. That doesn't cost anything except for your time. A chemo buddy is somebody that is going to be there when somebody gets that diagnosis. Now they feel like their life is falling apart. Their future, they're scared to death. You can just step in and have a conversation with them. That's what makes you a chemo buddy, right? A chemo buddy for life. You being that chemo buddy will inject life back into that other person who thinks that they just got handed a death sentence, right? And can help inject into them that hope that I'm going to be the one. I don't give a shit if this has a 4% survival ratio. I'm the fucking 4%, right? But think about business owners. 5% ever survive. And yet hundreds of millions of us idiots go into it thinking that we're going to be the one. Right. And it's because of our beliefs. And a lot of times we make it. Sometimes we fall. Sometimes we have to get back up. But this is an environment. This Chemo Buddies for Life is an environment of people that have gone through it, been touched by it, and have the desire to want to give back to other people that are going through it. That's the Chemo Buddy side. The other side is the financial side. Your donations, whether it's $5, if it's $5 tonight because it's Giving Tuesday, it doubles. Now it's $10. Right. So if you give $5, there's another $5 that's going to be matched. $5 becomes $10. It's the greatest time to give. And I know, look, you guys know I spend my life in fucking charity. I have tens of hundreds of thousands of people that hit me up because they know that I do a lot of philanthropic work. I know that this is, my God, Jason, how many things do I have to care about? My God, Jason, how many things do I got to donate to? You know, you're constantly on here for rescues and for domestic violence and for feeding people. And like, when are you going to stop asking for money? Fucking never, right? Never. That's why we created the 12-week course, so that good people can make more money, get more time, so they could do more good. It's a selfish reason. It's a selfish reason. I want you all to make more money. I want you all to make more money so that you can do more good, so that you can give when the call comes across your desk. For that, you know, we need to support our community. We need to support these things so that we have the resources to put in and to do it, right? And so you know, there's just a lot of that, and I just appreciate people sharing the message out and sharing it. So as we enter into this second hour, I just want to make sure everybody understands what this is all about. Why the three of us have decided to be here, you know, and why the three of us have decided to support Tamara, and you know, we have fun, we bust each other's balls, we have a good time, but this is a serious subject. You know, there's people tomorrow, there's people today that got the diagnosis that they've got incurable brain cancer, that they got lung cancer, that they have some kind of cancer, and they don't have anyone else to reach out to. And Chemo Buddies for Life is that people that put that message out, that say, hey, I'm here, right? Just raise your hand. If you're somebody out there that's watching this, and I know there's going to be a giant amount of replays on this, which I so appreciate. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching. I want to give a shout out to all of you that have been watching the entire time and supporting, and Aaron on the back end of this, and Teresa and Misty and Caroline and Noel and Coach Chuck and Rayanne and John Duffy. And I just want to give a huge shout out to you guys that have been supporting this and really giving of your time, energy, and your heart. I just love you all. I'm appreciative of you all. I know Tamara is extremely appreciative of you, and it wouldn't be happening without you. So, you know, let's keep talking shit. And really, Noel, I have to give a shout out specifically to Noel for being the only one that noticed my shirt. You know, that noticed my shirt.
It's not always about you, Jay. Can we get back to Dom now?
But right now it is about me. Right
Dom,
now it
did
is
you
about
get
me.
whiter, or what happened with the screen? What happened?
No, Dom. Well, you had to. I couldn't see him. I mean, I can't see you right now.
Yeah, right.
My daughter just woke up. This is no joke. Michelle walked by the room with my daughter in her arms because she woke up because I'm being too loud. I'm literally going to get divorced because of this. But hey, we're helping people with cancer.
It was inevitable, bro. She was coming my way anyway.
Listen,
so
no argument. It's okay. Things happen. But look at Dom's teeth, man. Like, is that?
I know.
Look at work done? Like, you're just a handsome son of a bitch.
He got chiclets in his mouth. What is going on?
Literally chiclets. Like, God, Jason and we had to get teeth knocked out to get them replaced. You just got them done.
I started with dentures, so here we are. You get what you pay for.
There you go.
I love it, man. The whole, like, you're square and closer to us now.
Go back to my shirt, motherfucker. Okay.
We're back to Jason.
What is that thing?
It's not always about us. It's about Jason.
Overall, I'm like, what is it?
It's not overall. Oh my God. Like you guys have no idea that this is which superhero this is.
It's like a cyborg jockstrap on your sternum.
It's
well said, sir. God, Dom, the relationship you and I have just got so much better.
Yeah, it's Deadpool. It's Deadpool, and they're literally fucking underoos. Like
underoos.
They're underoos. Oh my God! Please don't tell me you don't know.
Underoos.
Please don't know. Please don't tell me. If somebody online, please enlighten. Do you not know what underoos are?
You have to know what underoos are, bro.
What?
Were you born in the United States?
Right. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
This is aggressive. I just talked about
it's very aggressive because I'm starting to think you might be a Russian bot.
Teresa said earlier, less aggressiveness, more sexy, Dom. Take it easy, okay? I was just talking about your teeth, okay?
No, he needs to be. He needs
positive
to be
affirmations.
Yeah.
I don't care how broke you are growing up. You at least get donated at least one pair of underwear.
Oh no, bro. We had thermos. We had thermos where I grew up, bro. It was no underwear. We had to stay warm. You were
whatever it had it was a Russian fucking name because you were not American. You know.
Wow.
Ruskies.
Ukrainian.
You grew up under Ruskies. You're a fucking sleeper unit. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. That's the only people like that have that cool voice. That like I know you write stars on your chest. I know you do.
Vodka. Bring me vodka.
I do. Stars all the way across here, bro.
Exactly.
Your wife does look like
right on the nipple section. You don't tattoo the nipple section on the outside.
You can't do that.
Your wife does look like an Eastern European. I'm just telling you. Like,
listen, whatever, dude. They're blonde, tall.
It is what it is.
Oh, Emily, she just keeps giving you like props and shit. Like,
listen, there's a reason for that, dude, and it's okay, Jay. It's okay. Yeah. Can we listen? I don't know if you guys read the post when Jason was just like, "Come receive me, bust Todd's balls. I'm more handsome. My biceps are bigger." How did that comment go?
It went really well.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I got all kinds of like. See, the girls in my life, they're like, they went in DM. They didn't want to hurt your feet. They know you're fragile.
Oh, should I shoot my
like, Jason, everything you said is true. I like even Michelle. I'm not gonna like call her out or anything, but even Michelle in my DMs, that's like she was like, "You're right, Jason, but I can't say it publicly."
Dom, the police report that we just had written up about Jason stalking was
it's not stalking when it's welcome.
Snapshot of the DMs to my wife, and it got her a little scared, bro. I gotta be honest. She was like, "This game is fun for a while." Like you and Jay play. She goes, "But the aggressive, it's getting a little out of control right now." But
it's not.
She was that. Oh wow,
it's not stalking.
Noel had something to say. Noel has something to say if you want to read in the comments here. Noel, you're an amazing woman. You're also probably top 10 most intelligent women I've ever known in my life. I mean, I got to be honest. That comment was like
100%.
I love you for that.
You don't see the DM I just got from her. She said, I need to make him feel good. So don't take any offense to this. See, I know all of these. I know.
And listen, Noel, I also agree Dom is the best. I do agree with that too. No argument there.
You know what's funny? I like how we all bust each other's chops and all of us are under 6 feet tall. I really like. As I said, we're all short.
Man, that's a good point.
But the way we talk, it's like we're like, if this was a number, 6'15", like that's how tall we are.
Yeah, agree. No argument, dude. I mean, can we get back to Jason's record and beating me at anything?
Beating you at anything? That's like this is the sign of a true leader. You see that? You guys remember that picture, right? Where they're like the true wolf pack, right? Like the leader of the wolf pack is in the fucking back. That's me, baby. That's like, look, Dom is fucking awesome. Todd's fucking awesome. Like, Todd, I'm gonna let you win. I'm gonna actually keep it up so you win the fucking next. I'm gonna be like, here, baby. Like, I know I need you to be able to come up behind me and like. As I
wait, so you want me to come up behind you again and slower. You want me to come up behind you?
Those are your tendencies, brother. It is a nice ass. It is a nice ass. I just don't, I don't mind it being admired by other guys, but like, let's not like go there, okay? It's prime beef, brother. Prime beef.
Great glutes on you. Great glutes.
So Coach Chuck's on here watching, right? and I kind of figured he would be here. But I got to tell you guys, I've gotten 2 gifts from him. Love him, Ohana Island love. The whole tattoo. It's all Polynesian, all that kind of stuff. But both of his, let me show you his gifts. Like, what does that look like to you guys? On it, first gut. What does it look like?
It's like a
nipple.
Hey, Tom.
A nipple.
With your camera,
Areola.
My camera. Yeah.
A little areola, a little large, but that's just what it looks like from here.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, both of them. It's not the camera, bro. It's what it looks like. I was gonna wear it, but I'm like, I think people now you add that into, into my. There you go.
Third boob. It doesn't.
I got a third boob right now. Right. Look at Charles. Charles is on there going, call and donate. It's a titty.
It's a titty.
Yeah. You guys got
wait, Coach Chuck does give the best gifts.
Yeah. What's with it? What's the weirdest shit you have within arm's reach of you guys?
I would say these. My mother knew I liked to have golf. I like to play golf, so she bought me this thing. This is pretty weird though, but it's I don't know what that thing is.
I got 2 cell phones like on my desk, and I have no idea.
That's surprised me about you, Dom. Like, it's gonna be functional.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got some glasses.
Yeah, I got all kinds of shit. Look, this is Bananas. This is my co-host on some of my shows. This is Bananas. Okay. Dom, what you looking at?
You're not going to see that as a co-host on any of my shows. I can guarantee you that for the rest of my life.
I got this mask right here. This is for when I go out as Antifa.
I have pictures of Emily someplace. I'm not allowed to show them.
I sent them to you, bro.
I have a Peloton right here next to me, but I can't do that on camera.
Wow. Has anyone ever told you you're much better looking with that on?
No, that's it.
Look at Dom's face. Dom's face was priceless there. It was like, I don't know about it, Jay.
What else I got? What else I got here? Tell me what this is. You know what this is?
I don't know why I just puckered.
Yeah, that's a tie hanger.
Thank you. It's a fucking tie hanger. Like my mom, who has had my birthday card for a fucking year since last year, she's like, I got this for you too. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then my daughter got me this. You know what this is?
Yeah.
A paddle?
Yeah, paddle.
Oh, bald man's hairbrush.
Yeah. Well done, sir.
I can brush my
done.
That's probably the funniest one yet.
Misty, can you forward me the picture of Jason licking it? What is that comment? That's a mouse.
What?
Misty says she has a picture of you licking it.
Oh yeah, the nipple. I did. I actually went. So now the whole world has it. What else I got? Oh, this was a gift. This was a gift from somebody. I don't. You know, just representative of. I'm just gonna let both of you guys imagine why I got this gift. Okay. There you go.
Because you're short legs, I don't.
Oh dear Lord!
Oh, I just saw 4 short legs.
This was one of my favorites, though. Actually, this is like a little ball,
a plug of some sort,
little Buddha. It's amazing.
Or that.
Or he said a plug. A lot of ways that can go down.
You guys are boring. You don't have anything around you. You guys are like,
I'm not. I'm really not functional at all.
I'm looking around. I got cigars. What else I got?
Listen, if you're watching this right now, make sure you guys are donating cb4l.org because we're going off we're going off on tangents right now. But this is for raising money for Chemo Buddies and supporting an amazing foundation. Make sure you guys get your checkbooks out. Start sending that money in because I think where Teresa said it best, your 4-year-old boy would love it. She'll start the bid at $10 for you guys. This nipple
or for the shirt? Like,
I don't know what the bid's 4. I didn't really see the comment. I think she'll put it on there.
Not for you guys because you're fucking boring. Like, you guys are
boring.
Boring. Like, I'm like,
dude, I don't know.
Jason's
I'm
just
about to wait.
And we're supposed to compete with a grown man. Underwood. They had a plug.
Thank you.
There's motorcycle,
yeah.
And a ball hairbrush. Bro,
there's no competition.
You were that special kid in class that we had to wait till the end of the year to do show and tell because there was no telling what you were going to bring in, and the kids needed the full summer to recoup from what you brought into class.
Whatever. And it was just a genuine thing. Look, John Duffy says this has to be the wildest experience of Dom's life. Yeah. There's some wilder times coming.
Is Dom invited or is it just Miss Faussette?
No, Dom has to be. So somebody's got to hold the camera. Like,
I was just going to say that. That's too good.
I love the thing I love about Dom's smile is that it also has a murderous tint to it.
Oh, it's exactly what it is.
That's
he's thinking, what can I say off? What I need to keep my.
You hold your hand like that in your mouth, Todd, while you talk to me.
Yeah, well, he does. He's used to holding it like that, you know.
I like that side of you, bro. This is good. It's not Mr. Military. I like it, dude.
I know.
Dude, but by the way, Dom, do that one more time for me, real quick, just so people can see that side of you.
No, he was watching you, bro. He was mimicking you. Like, you can't pass that off onto Dom.
Right.
Like,
we were acting. You were just who you were.
Right. It was natural.
I have soft hands. I have soft hands. I don't know what to do. It's a good thing.
You got pretty lips too, by the way.
Listen, it's not the first time you've touched them, and I'm fine to do it again.
I don't know what else. You guys don't have any. What are your inspiring books you have around you? What else you got? Anything?
Yeah, man. Look at this one. Little
boom, love it. Okay, there you go. He's got it. That's a shameless fucking self-promotion.
Dude, it's so bad. I literally have both my books right here. I could have done, one of these, Dom. Like, yeah, here you go.
I've got my book and my passport. That's all I need.
Yeah.
And I don't know why my passport.
I got a pillow.
Yeah. Let's see what book I have. Let me see. I got a few of them. Let me check.
Let's see what I got here.
An iPad.
Got an iPad.
You know what? I'm going to show you guys something.
Please, for fuck's sake.
Do something.
Do something, man. Fucking carrying your ass is
you guys will find a way to make it not serious. But, It just let me explain, Todd. Don't look down on it and say what and then question. Like, let me explain it.
Wow, the insecurity and what I was going to say about that page, it was all positive coming out of my mouth, and then you went ahead. Look. Wow.
What is that? Lines, colored.
Totally negative.
Colored lines. Please. I drew that obviously easily in kindergarten.
Oh, you drew it.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to talk shit. I thought it was some kid that had.
It was Dom at 5, but it was the way I saw the world, and and I'm bringing this up because our society is just jacked, and a lot of things are based off of what we are externally, and I haven't hung it up for probably because I'm lazy in this part of the house, but. As I look at that picture and looking at CB4L or CB4L.org, it's I look at the lines and everybody has a thing that brings them to the line, right? And the Cancer Buddies for Life in my opinion, addresses the hurts that people have that bring them to the line, right? Cancers have touched my family, Todd's family, and Jason's and a bunch of people on here, but it's different types of cancers that bring us to the line. And when you ask what was in the office, and I saw that picture, I was like, wow, you know what? That's cancer paints a different color picture for all of our lives, and it allows us to, as we look at what Tamara's done in her life. I mean, for her to give what she's given. and I know we all joke a lot, but for her to be who she is and be, I don't think I could do the amount of time on a camera like she has. But when you've hurt so much and almost lost your life, and I just think being gender specific, I do think women are stronger than men. And I say that because I hear my dad say, everything that your mother's gone through, I would have died 20 times over. I cannot do what she's done. So I don't have a wrap up point to this. I just saw that and wanted to bring it up. And then back to our regularly scheduled programming here, back to clowning each other.
Can we get back to how you went the fuck off on me? I didn't say. I literally just looked at them. Like, even Emily said, Todd legit looked at it and Dom went the fuck off.
Yeah. Look, it's a childhood painting that I've never shown anybody. And yeah,
listen,
I was a little sensitive.
I love it. I was going to say a lot of positive stuff, but now that you drew it, I don't fucking care anymore. So let's go. I was thinking you're going to say some small kid that we helped change his life in, you know, the middle of Africa someplace. And this is a picture he drew me. And I was going to say a lot of positive
7 continents, and he chooses Africa.
Yeah. Well, why did you choose Africa?
I don't know, Todd. Why'd you choose Africa?
That's some underlying.
See, you expected me to go around it, and I literally just
I didn't.
Like, it's an easiest. This is what makes us us, right? See, a lot of people go, "Oh shit, he's associating Africa with my ethnicity." You're right. You're fucking black, Dom. That's why he said Africa. I mean, I don't know what do you want me to say?
He had a ponytail though, so he's got a little redneck in him somewhere.
Wait, are you saying people in Africa don't have ponytails?
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah.
It's a little racist.
100%. What does the hairstyle have to do with? That's like hairism. It's not racism. Doesn't have anything to do with it.
Hairism. That's it. It's happening.
You were kind of associating black people with ponytails that had to be country. I don't know. We were talking about Africa, so it's
if you think about it, it's not far off. I mean, where's the last black guy you've met with a ponytail? I'm pretty certain he was from the South.
Redneck. Redneck. I mean, you can be black and be a redneck at the same time.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, you cannot be a redneck. You cannot be a redneck and then be black, though. That's there's a little bit of.
Jason, can we get to a more important topic real quick?
I used to talk about Dom's boots. Sorry about that, but I couldn't get my words out.
Talk about Dom's boots for a moment. Dom, do you have boots on at this very moment?
No, I do not wear boots in this office. They're right outside the hallway, though.
Oh, you take them off as you walk in?
Yes.
Wow, that's strict.
Well, that's like Japanese redneck black.
That's Japanese redneck.
Yeah, a Japanese redneck black.
But they prefer African, I think. Those people, right, Dom, or no?
No, most of those people that I know, we're cool black. We know you're racist when you say African American. We know you're prejudiced when you say African American. We know you're racist when you stutter and say it. No, not that one. No, we haven't used that in years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. We've been, by the way, thanks. Misty comes in for 5 fucking minutes and says, please, let's recognize Tamara. We've been recognizing her for an hour and a half. Where you been? Where you been?
Oh, man.
Come in here at the end as the queen that she is, but I told her she can come back whenever she's ready. So don't be getting in here and all bossy and all that kind of stuff, Misty. Just, hey, wait, I got a special gift for Misty. It's
doesn't even have to unwrap it.
Oh, man.
Just in case you were checking, I did get something for Misty. I got 2 bags of okay. So anyway, what the hell were we talking about before we were so rudely interrupted? Kiss it. She said, "Kiss it." Mark the spot, baby. Mwah. Mwah.
Misty, can I interest you in a foursome?
3. That I guarantee you, no matter what she types in response to that answer, her heart said yes.
Yes. and deep down inside, she's picturing this moment as we speak. Yeah. It's really just, there's the queen herself back in action.
There's Teresa. Teresa's going, we all said, like, this is a commonality between her and Misty. It's those two that we're asking, and now it's everyone.
Well, hello, guys.
Hello, lady of the hour.
Lady of the 35th hour.
35th.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling a little better now, so thank you.
Good. Well, I'm taking the break. So we've been loving up on you, and
thank you.
And we've been having a good time. So have you got a chance to listen in to Todd's nonsense?
I've heard a little bit of it. I do like the underoos.
Yep. See, thank you. See, Todd, all of your nonsense, and guess what sticks? Underoos.
Listen,
but you know,
Jason, we've been over this. Words hurt people right now.
You know, because around our house, you know, I like sense of humor, and so Deadpool's kind of funny. So, you know,
Deadpool is the greatest, aside from the Bald Avenger, right? Is the greatest superhero of all time.
I mean, how can you not just love Deadpool? I mean,
just saying, you know,
Deadpool
or a grown man who calls himself a superhero. Like, some people would say there's a problem with that.
Yes. I got to tell you, we sit here and we bullshit for the past hour and a half, and we've been listening to we haven't really listened to Jason at all, but I've been listening to Dom, it's unbelievable to see what you've done. We've been literally talking about you for an hour and a half, who you are, what you're accomplishing. You know, and it was funny. We were talking about the next impactor, about how I beat Jason, but we were talking about the next impactor, and I literally said I did nothing. And I'm saying this because you are the type of person that takes a platform like this. And
everybody knows you did nothing, by the way. But go ahead.
I gave you that one, Jason. I'm giving you that one. I know you needed it. I want that. It was from the heart. But you take a platform like this, you literally blow it up into something that is going to be world changing. This isn't just local. This isn't just, I want people to understand that you've got 36 different thought leaders and impactors of the world that you put together over a 36-hour time frame, which the only other person that I think, was Jerry Lewis that was even coming close to doing something like this. And I remember watching that as a kid. And I sit back and
they play that over in Russia, huh?
But you don't.
Yeah, they did.
I've never heard of underwood.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Is that I remember watching Jerry Lewis telethons as a kid, and I think you are the ideal. I won't even say replacement, but candidate to do what you're doing to help impact lives through Chemo Buddies, and what you're doing is outstanding. I am honored completely from the bottom of my heart to know you and watch you impact lives. You don't rest. And that's been an hour and a half of us saying that. And we'll say it again. I mean, everybody, we've got 23 minutes left. I'm not going to let Jason do the math. We saw how horrible that one earlier. And you need to donate, cb4l.org. Give as much money as you guys can. Call in, do whatever you guys need, but you need to do it now, because this woman deserves your support, but not necessarily, it's never for her. Everything that she does is for others. So I love you from the bottom of my heart. I'm up at 1 to 3 a.m. to support you, your dreams. I would do it again every single day for the rest of my life, and I love you.
Oh, well, I love you too, and thank you. And I promise I won't ask every day. I promise you. But I have to say, you guys, the intention, and Jason knows this already, you hit it on the head, Todd. We are going there.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
is no doubt we are going to be the modern day Jerry Lewis telethon. We will be taking that, and it's going to be revolved around Giving Tuesday, and we will own it. Yes, we will. And that is where we are going.
Well, and you're committed to it. You have the systems and the processes now set up to learn from this experience, right?
Mhm.
And how to make it better, and how to,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the structure, the infrastructure of this thing. I wish people could have been in one meeting. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people watching, they were in that meetings, and in those meetings, and just to have 12 to 25, sometimes 30 people in a meeting of going, okay, what do we do to support, right?
Mhm.
And getting that infrastructure put in place, and the amazing human beings that dedicated their time, Misty and Noelle and, you know, Charles and, you know, and Barbara and Carol and Aaron, and like all of the time and energy that's been dedicated to, not, I mean, yes, to Chemo Buddies for Life, but ultimately to you, because you're a great woman, and you're somebody who is highly deserving. I said this earlier on my, you know, on my segment, that I was able to actually have a good time without Todd's big mouth going off all the time. But we had, you know, I'm just so proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you. You know, I know you were, like I said, I knew, and I wanted, and I supported the fact that you won, even though you weren't on my team in the next Impactor. You know, I felt like if you didn't win, it would have been a travesty. You know,
Real quick, Jay, real quick. He literally, Tamara, I want to be on, like, okay, so Jason and I bust each other's balls. We talk a lot, you know, and we talk the same way on the phone as we were showing you guys here now, but his exact words, he's speaking nothing but truth right now. He literally called me and he said, as amazing as every candidate is and what they're putting into this, and as deserving as they all are to win, it would be a travesty if you didn't. His exact words. So I just want to say that, Jay, because that's absolute fact.
Yeah, I felt it in my soul. I felt it in every cell in my body, and it's because what is right resonates, right? What is authentic resonates. And when it's about somebody, the resonant vibration is very low. When that person is putting out for the rest of the world, that resonant vibration is massive, you know, and that's where you come from. I mean, you know, if the intention's there and the willingness to work is there, my strategies, Todd's strategies, Dom's strategies will really help accelerate. But if you don't have it, no strategy in the world is going to help you. If it's all about you, then it's never going to work. Doesn't matter what strategy you have. So that's my 2 cents. You know, Dom can chime in here all he wants.
You know, what I mentioned about Tamara was your presence. I'm just going to call it that because I think it's a lot harder than what I mentioned earlier. Command presence. It's a lot of people talk. In my personal experience with you, so in the same room, you don't say a lot, but you don't speak a lot, but you say a lot. A lot of people, and I'll just leave it at that. A lot of people say a lot, but their words are muted. And I don't know if you realize this, but when you step or when you walk, your ability, it's almost like it's not you. Your ability to connect with people, more importantly, to have people to connect with you, it shows up in the room prior to you coming into the room. Mm-hmm. And you probably do know that, but in the event you may have forgotten about it over the last 5 minutes, I'm reiterating it or reminding you of it. And it was no surprise that you won. And I said this earlier, like I don't know if I could do a 36-hour, like I couldn't do this. I don't think I could. In fact, I'm comparing myself to you. But you've shown up with the pearly whites and the look. Like if I did, my face would be through his glass in his desk. So, You know, Todd shared some things about his mom specific to cancer. I've shared some things, and these are things that I don't share because I'm not ready to share. I can talk about me all day long on stage, but I don't talk about things that my family goes through just because I'm not at that place yet. So you made an impact in me, and not a lot of people can do that. So thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that. You know, the what you're sharing right now, and that's one of the main reasons we're doing what we're doing with Chemo Buddies also, is because we need to be able to have an environment where that if someone is feeling something like that, that they would have a place to be able to go, even if they don't have to be seen, but that they can then just start getting through whatever it is that they need to get through. Because I know for a fact that myself, when when I lost my grandfather, he was everything to me. And I lost him to cancer. He was the first one I lost. And for the longest time, and I'm talking decades, a couple of them, I couldn't talk about him without getting too choked up and teary-eyed. And I needed to be able to work through that. And now I can turn that into helping others to be able to do the same thing. And that's one of the reasons that we are having Chemo Buddies for Life be also supporting those that are affected by cancer, because they lost someone. And I don't care if they lost someone 50 years ago or if it's still tender, they need to be helped because they're not living their full potential yet. And when they do get that opportunity to serve someone else, that's how they'll actually serve themselves and finally be healed. And so you see, the serving piece of it is what is also going to be the piece that's going to, without them understanding it possibly, it's what's going to help them to get through to the other side. And then it'll be like, wow, I'm feeling so good these days, you know? Isn't that amazing? So it's just taking that service piece. It's something we all know. When you serve someone else, you actually can find yourself. Kind of goes back to the good old, you know, simple rules. And that's what we're doing. We're keeping things simple.
Right.
And yet it's huge. It is. But it's time. And that's the thing, that every person that's coming, and they're feeling called to come, because this is bigger than any of us are. I just have to say, the Jerry Lewis thing, I just see it. You know, it's like, okay, I see it because I see it. But the Chemo Buddies thing is here because it's time. And I was called to, you know, come and do what I'm doing, but it's not going to always be me. It will be turned over to the next person and then to the next ones, because this is something that will be generational. And we're building a network, a buddies network, that is then going to be duplicatable to help others in other groups. So, you know, we're just, too many people do go out there, and I know many of them that they complain about something, but they're not necessarily willing to go out there and do something about it. Well, then there's the ones that will say, you know, okay, I don't have any clue, but obviously I'll show up, and then it will start to come. And that is what has been happening here. And you know what? The confirmation just continues to come. And that's what it gets kind of fun, because it's like when someone then will say, you know what? I did not expect that I would get this out of it because I came to serve. However, I'm getting so much more. And that continues to happen. And that's why I was like, 36 hours? Absolutely. I can do this, because 36 hours is nothing compared to some of the days that, you know, anybody that's faced cancer and they are at a point where they are in the thick of it, 36 hours is nothing. Mm-hmm. It's nothing. And so for us to be able to say, okay, once a year for 36 hours, I'm going to go out there because we're going to affect the world, and we're going to help people that right now seriously can't do it for themselves. But someday they'll be doing it for someone else because we're going to help them to get through it. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I'm just grateful that you guys are here to help make this happen, because do I need to learn stuff? Absolutely. That's why I'm so happy to be working with you guys, because, do I need to sometimes make my sentences short? They fit into the little Excel spreadsheet.
Who gave you that coaching? Who gave you that coaching?
Because
I don't know how she does the fingers so good. She knows which way. We were trying to figure out who we're pointing at earlier. Tamara didn't hesitate.
I kind of live in this chair lately. Yeah. And the good news here is that we are actually doing something that is literally a legacy. All of us, all of us involved, and that's all of us. And at some point in time, I have a family. I don't see them much lately, not for the last 3 years, but I also know that I was going to change the fact that cancer continued to go through a route, and I was going to protect, we protect, right? I was going to protect my own children and grandchildren by saying, whatever the karma was, whatever it was, I'm going to stop it here. And so then, and we're going to change the way it's done. And if nothing else, if I can do this and that no more of my kids end up with cancer and my grandkids don't, boy, it was worth it. And
Tamara, you earlier when you were taking a little freshen upper moment, we were talking a little bit about the conversation you and I had the other day, and I hope you don't mind me sharing it. But I talked about how beautiful you are and how much I love you and what you mean in my life. And if you remember the text message, you immediately sent me a picture and you said, "Oh, I'm a lot different now," and this was me back then. I shared with everybody that's been watching for the past 2 hours how you've kind of morphed and blossomed into the most beautiful moment that you've ever been in right now, as a person, in your soul, and what you do for people. Because the picture was a moment in time for you. You're changing moments in time for the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And when I look at that picture, I was literally sitting next to my wife. I was showing Michelle. I was like, look at this message. And if you remember what I replied, I said, you're more beautiful now than you've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Because of your effort to impact and change lives. And as Jason says, we no longer use entrepreneurs, we use thought leaders. Your mind and your soul, your body, your spirit, what you have to offer this world, you're on another level. And I just need you to know that we see it and the world sees it and everybody watching sees it. This is not it's never a Tamara celebration for you. It's celebrating others in the world and their victories and their wins and how can we help other people. But in the last 7 minutes of a 36-hour telethon, you need to know, I think you need to understand fully that how beautiful you are and what you're going to do to change lives in this world. And that I have never seen that picture I saw. Don't give me beautiful. You're never more beautiful than you are right now. And I need you to know that, because I think you're going to be, I know this is going to go way bigger than Jerry Lewis telethon. He had the celebrity status behind him. He's got, these multi-million-dollar supporters that were watching it. Again, as a kid watching that show, watching him do what he did. He did a great thing, but you're coming. But Jason said earlier, you don't have the funds and the money and the people and all of this to help support this dream. You have heart. and soul. So I'm gonna end and let you guys close out the last 6 minutes by just saying that I'm in awe by you. I every time I see you, it's always elevating and it's always raising your game, and it's for the love and help of others. So the acknowledgement that you need to receive from this is you're a beast. You're an unbelievable gift and a beast to this world, and I am absolutely honored to be by your side, and I am here for you whenever you need me, and I love you more than words can say. So never forget that you're more beautiful now than you've ever been.
Well, thank you, Todd. I love you too. I do. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, you know what? This is I'm humbled and I'm grateful. You know, where I want to go right now is just say that this is really all about what we are building. And I appreciate what you guys are saying and everything. And I will not stop until we have done it. And that's my commitment. We are going to make it, and so that no one has to be afraid and be alone. And too many families, too many people, too many, because it is an epidemic. And we're not going out there to change the medicine or any of that. What we're going to do is we're going to help to change something is just people. We're going to take the people back. We're just going to say, you know what? Big companies, go do what you're going to do. It's not about what type of treatment someone's going to choose, and it doesn't even matter if it's the patient or the support person. It is that they've been affected by this, and we are going to do something as simple as say, we're not going to let it destroy our families anymore. We're not going to let it destroy our futures anymore. We're not going to let it destroy our souls anymore, because it has been. And we're going to just say, we're going through some simple things like humor and hope and heart, a lot of love. We're going to help people to get through it together, and then they're going to help the next ones. And then they're going to help the next ones. And someday it will be so strong that no matter what happens in the medical side of it, we will, through the people side of it, we will be able to say, you know what, that was a moment in time, but it didn't define our family. It didn't destroy our family. It didn't destroy me. I was able to get through it because I had a buddy. I was a part of a community, and I learned how to eat better. I learned how to do, I was able to be retrained, and so that I could work from home and that I didn't have to lose my home. I was able, whatever it may be, there's simple solutions, and many of them are, if we band together and we look at ADA and we look what they do. They have one nonprofit that joined together with 800, and did they like each other? No, not necessarily, but did they come together and have a law changed that was signed on the White House lawn? And 51% of all companies and anybody that qualifies under ADA has to have their people be ADA. And so it's always going to stay grassroots. It's always going to stay in control of the people.
That's where it belongs. That's where the power really comes from. And
right.
That, as you know, I mean, whether you won me or not, I was going to be in your life. I mean, you're somebody that's a powerhouse and somebody that's changing the world. And the thing that I always, I just wish I had a good voice, to sing. But I always think, I come back to Rod Stewart's song, right? The rhythm of your heart. The rhythm of your heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue, right? That's where you come from. The words "I love you" are always rolling off your tongue. The words "I love you," whether how they come from Dom or how they come from Todd, it's the words "I love you" are rolling off my tongue, and that is who you are. That is why everybody came here to support you. That is why everybody has your back. And I told you when we started this, I got your back.
Very first phone call. Yes.
It's not a joke, because Misfit Nation, all of the people that are gathered around you to put their arms around you, that's a protection mode, and as long as those words, the words "I love you" rolling off your tongue, then you're a member of Misfit Nation, and you will have the protection of the men and the women in this nation, and to support you and to lift you up, because what you're doing is important. What you're doing is needed, and it's selfless. And, I said a bunch of stuff on my earlier hour. I'm not going to repeat it, but you are one of the most selfless people that I know, and I love you.
And I want to be clear, when I say that you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen, you are, but you look way better when you're sitting next to this idiot.
That's why I'm here. Anybody I'm next to, I make them all look better.
I mean, Dom's handsome as hell. So but when you're sitting next to Jason, you look like $1 million cash.
I'm here to make you all look better.
$1 million. Let's donate it. There you go.
Yeah.
Jason, get that book out.
So 2020, baby. Chemo Buddies for Life is going to be on the Misfit Nation Unstoppable Tour. This is going to be something that we're supporting for the entire year. And there's only 3 other entities that are going to be being supported by, from my perspective on the platform of Misfit Nation, it's Chemo Buddies for Life and 3 others, and that's it. So we want to do the best that we can for you, and the reason is because of who you are, what you stand for, and who you continue to show up as. And those words "I love you" rolling off your tongue are so beautiful to so many people.
Well, I am going to get to bed before my wife kills me, because my 4-year-old has woken up, and I know I'm going to hear about it.
Yeah.
But it's well worth it. Nah, definitely well worth it. But I'm going to leave just by saying I love each and every one of you. Jay, you're my brother.
You too, brother. I love you, man.
Forever. Dom, you're a gift to this world, brother. I truly mean that. And I love watching you thrive, dude. I love watching you grow. And Tamara, I can't say enough about what you're doing. And like Jason said, you got me for whatever, whenever, however. You have my love, support, and I love you guys. Okay.
Thank you. Now, this is the 36 hours. I didn't accomplish one of my goals, so I have to make them still happen through the end of this. I'm kicking it off for the giving season is how I'm going to do it now. So I could use any kind of help through the end of this month, because I'm not stopping. We still have a goal. I may have pulled out.
Well, you have a shitload of content now, right? To get out there and working for you on the internet. So.
Yeah. So, we still Dream Team. We still need to, we got to keep meeting until we make that the goal. So, okay, there you go. So thank you.
Brother Dom, thanks for showing up. Brother Todd, you're amazing. You guys are all champions in my world and in my life. I love you both. I love you, Tamara. Again, we're family, and we're just getting started.
Yes, and we're going to have a Wednesday meeting tomorrow or next week.
So
will anybody show up? Because we're still, I still, the goal is still hasn't been met. So.
For sure. I think I will be there. If I'm not in another event, I'll be there. Oh, did we lose her?
Think so.
Did you guys like when I sang Rod Stewart? It was really good. Yeah.
I was going to tell you I hated it. Dom, did you hate it?
No.
All right. I love it.
Dom, I hated it. Do you hate it, Dom? Yeah, I hated it. Yeah. Jason, please don't ever sing again. On that note, I'm going to bed. I love each and every one of you guys. I'm out.
Bye.
Peace.